Napa know-how.
It's Love Your Car Month at Napa. And to show your car the love, get a Napa bucket for $2.99 and save 20% on almost everything you can fit inside, like car wash, car wax, and tire shine. So save some cash and look good doing it by getting 20% off with the Napa bucket. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items may not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 4/30/19.
Welcome to Mysterious Goings On. I am your host, J. Alexander Greenwood. It's Chapter 18, Shock That Monkey. I had the great fortune of going to the Peter Gabriel Sting Rock, Paper, Scissors tour in Chicago recently. It was an incredible experience. I've liked Sting since the Police days and seen him many, many times. And I've loved Peter Gabriel's music since I was in high school. But I'd never seen him perform live before, and I'd lost a little bit of track of him the past few years, but I had most of his original solo albums and just absolutely adored what he did. So going to the concert was a major treat. Something fun did happen, by the way. Had pretty lousy seats, went with some friends, but the... It's about 5 minutes till showtime, and we're up in the nosebleeds, and everybody's making fun of the seats. And I got the seats because I bought the tickets, and then everybody paid me back and all that. But, you know, nobody on our budget, nobody could afford to get right down in front or anything like that. Well, 5 minutes before showtime, people from the United Center, the venue there in Chicago, came up to us and said, "Are you all together?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Would you come with me, please?" And I'm like, what, did we do something wrong? You know, I'm kind of half joking, and had a couple of drinks, and I was just having a little fun with him. And I said, look, if I got out of line, ha ha ha. And actually, no. Turns out they had some empty seats in section 100, which was on the left side of the stage, and we were about, I guess, 3 rows up. So literally, if there weren't noise, I could have yelled, "Hey Sting," and he would have heard me, or "Hey Peter," and he would have heard me when he was coming on and off the stage. They were fantastic seats. We could see everything going on stage, admittedly from the side, but it was still very cool. And then we could look up, and there's a huge Jumbotron type screen just over our shoulder, so it was very easy to kind of toggle between the two. So it was a phenomenal concert. Sting and Peter Gabriel are just such... They were naturals, which I didn't think that would necessarily be the case, but they were absolutely naturals playing. And if you didn't catch the tour, which was brief, I'm so sorry for you if you're a fan of either one. But I do hope it is, and I mean sincerely, I will pay top dollar to get a DVD of the concert, and definitely the audio, because the music was incredible. And hear, Peter Gabriel do, like a Barry White version of "If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free." And then to hear Sting do "Shock the Monkey," and they played together and they sang back up for each other. It wasn't like they played, one person played and the other one's, and then went off stage and disappeared and the other one played. It wasn't like that. It was kind of like a meshing of two bands and just really incredible. But speaking of "Shock the Monkey," I was taken by when I heard Sting singing "Shock the Monkey," and he did a fine rendition of it. But I revisited "Shock the Monkey" and a lot of the other Peter Gabriel music that I heard at the concert in the subsequent passing weeks since then. And "Shock the Monkey" has really stood out to me, particularly as I'm writing a new book, a new John Pilate mystery novel, and the concept, if you're unfamiliar with the Peter Gabriel song "Shock the Monkey," which came out in the early to mid 80s, it's not about animal rights. A lot of people think that, or it's not about monkeys. It is a love song that examines how jealousy can release your basic instincts. The monkey's not literally a monkey. It's a metaphor for feelings of jealousy. And I have to say that that's a theme that's going on in my writing right now with my main character. There's some situations there I won't go into right now. Still work in progress on that. But, and sorry to get a little political here, but I'm going to. If you don't want to hear my politics, you're free, of course, to turn off the podcast and delete it. I posted something about this on the John Pilate Mysteries Facebook page, which is facebook.com/John Pilate Mysteries, easy to find. And I said, today's political campaign reminds me of Shock the Monkey, which is about feeling jealous, threatened, and helpless. That's my interpretation. And thus igniting the primal aggressive survival impulse nestled in the amygdala. In essence, one presidential campaign has succeeded in shocking the monkey of people by feeding them a steady diet of fear of that which is the other. As I said there, this is incredibly dangerous, and overcoming primal impulses is the key to the survival of the human race. But that is easier said than done. Thousands of years of evolution have instilled in us, a certain reaction to the fear response. So if you're not trying to use your intellect if you don't use your intellect to reason with yourself, you may find that your monkey gets shocked, your primal urge and your fear response comes out. I'm seeing that a lot in this election cycle from one candidate who's very much pumping fear at people. There's a alleged news channel that's been around for about 20 years that has specialized in pumping people full of fear. Although the media in general, I think, does a great job of that. Just watch your local news for any length of time, and you'll find out that apparently, people are being shot left and right, which sadly that is true. But there'll be robberies, there'll be bizarre deaths, there'll be strange things. You don't get a whole lot of happy news from your local news, and that's because mayhem sells. And human beings are wired to respond to mayhem and to respond to aggression and to respond to fear. And that is, again, as I said earlier, where our intellect has to come into play, where we have to reason with fear and we have to reason with our emotions. We have to reason with that primal instinct that when we fear something, it's fight, flight, fawn, or what the other things are. But you have to develop a means to use reason and a means to develop strategies for certainly being afraid when it's called for, but not letting others cry wolf and make you afraid. I think that too often people outsource their thinking. They outsource their thinking to the news, or the news media, or a political candidate, or a church, or an authority figure, or and I think that that's dangerous. I think one of the greatest dangers to our country and to the world is a very obvious lack of critical thinking amongst many human beings. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not by any means a deep thinker. I'm not by any means a master, logician. But I try very hard to apply logic and reason, and I try to think for myself, and I try also to use empathy to understand what somebody who disagrees with me is saying. I try to hear what they're saying, but I also can see a lot of the times where people get their ideas. In the fiction, so how we bring this back to this chapter, in the fiction, I think it's a very effective tool to have events that cause your main characters, or whether they be your hero or your antagonist or your protagonist, whomever, you have things that shock that monkey, and you show that. I really hate two-dimensional characters. Every character in every book, I try to write them as if they, as most human beings do, we're all the hero in our own story. And almost none of us think of ourselves as a villain. So I try not to write a villain as a villain. I try to write the villain as somebody who has their own motivations and their own life circumstances that make them the way they are. Things that have caused them on a base level to shock that monkey or to do things that society would frown upon. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. again, this does touch on politics, and it's a kind of a third rail with a lot of people. They don't come to me as a writer of fiction to hear what I think about politics. But I think it's important to consider in your real life motivations of people and what they do and the effect it has on you and your community, and then apply that to your fiction as a writer and as a reader. Apply that. If you're reading a book or a short story or whatever, or watching a TV show, and the writing is so plainly, the villain is so snidely whiplash, so completely out of central casting for a bad guy, that kind of stuff just turns me off right away. It's the same thing with the hero. If the hero is perfect and the hero is constantly, checking his hair in the mirror and, got the shirt buttoned down and, unbuttoned down in the middle and, all the chicks dig him or whatever, that kind of thing, that turns me off too, because that's not real. John Pilate, the lead character in my series, he's an incredibly flawed human being. He has a lot of problems. He has battles with depression. He has battles with his internal dialogue. Maybe he may experience an issue with drinking problem, I think. I think he likes to drink a lot, and maybe more than is healthy. He's also entering midlife and not thrilled about it and not sure how to handle it. And he's also conflicted about his marriage and his role as a father. And so there's lots of things that are always churning with John Pilate, just like you and just like me. So for you writers out there, I hope that's coming through to the page for you. And for you readers, I definitely hope you're finding that in your reading of whomever you're reading. With that, shock that monkey, my friends. Shock it to life, as Peter Gabriel would say, in your writing. But in your real life, if something shocks your monkey, that sounds so funny. I'm thinking of Dieter from Sprockets on Saturday Night Live, touch my monkey. But no, I'm talking about shock the monkey. If there's somebody who's, yanking your chain, and there's another way of putting it, trying to make you afraid all the time, find out why. What's their motivation for that? I mean, is there a legitimate reason to be afraid about everything they're saying? Or are they yanking your chain so that you'll fall in line behind them and follow them because they allegedly have all the answers? And that's either party. Don't let people do that. Don't outsource your thinking. All right, somebody please help me off my soapbox. Is there a monkey in the room that could help me? I don't see a monkey either. Rats. Well, chapter 18 is done, and I appreciate you listening. We're going to try to get back on a more regular schedule with the podcast, and we so appreciate you going to pilatescross.com. That's Pilates cross, CROSS, pilatescross.com. That's the mothership for the podcast. It's also where you can find information about my books and how to buy them, get autographed copies, stuff like that. And of course, all 5 of my books are available on Amazon and everywhere ebooks are sold. And I would just love it if you are a new listener and you check out my books and write a good review or write a review. You don't have to write a good review, although I prefer a good review. All right. Well, thanks again for listening. I hope it was illuminating for you. And if you disagree, I understand. I'd love to hear more and understand more about why you disagree with what I said. And you can reach me on the Twitter at @A_Greenwood. Or again, you can reach me through pilatescross.com. There's a contact form there. And of course, you can also get on Facebook too. All right, this has been fun. I'm going to go play some Peter Gabriel music now. Though I think the one I'm really into at the moment is Digging in the Dirt, which if you've been in therapy or analysis, which John Pilate has been in therapy and analysis, Digging in the Dirt is something you should listen to. All right, until next time, I'm J. Alexander Greenwood. Keep reading.
There's a difference between do it yourself and do it for a living. At the Home Depot, we get that. And we're here to help pros get the job done with the products and brands you trust. Technology to keep your job on track. Job site delivery to save you time. And bulk pricing on over 4,000 items every day to save you money. When you've got a job, we're on the job. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see your practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.